Catalyst is the owner of Farias Consulting, Mario Farias. Welcome, sir.
Good. How you doing, Joe?
Living the dream. So we're talking real estate, and want to get your thoughts on the market in general, on affordable housing, and just all things real estate in St. Pete. But before we get to that, let's dig into a pretty significant project you're involved with in the Commerce Park area. Can you paint the vision for what you're building?
Sure. When we purchased Commerce Park late last year or early last year, it was just designated as industrial traditional. So we began looking at different options for it, how to use it as in either sales, recreational, factories, warehouses. So we looked at everything. But this year, the legislature up in Tallahassee changed the game for us. They passed some new legislation allowing industrial traditional to be transferred into residential as long as there's a component of workforce or lower income housing. And being here at St. Pete, being in the entertainment business through our restaurants and hospitality, we know the need on that. I see our employees suffering every day, trying to find a place to live and at an affordable rate, and that's become pretty much almost impossible in our city. So we're working on this project. We hired a great firm in Wanamaker Jensen, Jason Jensen, and Tommy Goodwill. Great guys, great visionaries, local St. Petersburg mindset, which was what we needed. That area is an up and coming area between the Deuces and it's sandwiched right in between the Deuces and the Warehouse Arts District, which doesn't of units. So we're looking at it in a different manner, two different types of buildings. On there, we have 5.5 acres, which gives us lots of room to build on, considering that some of the projects in St. Petersburg are on postage stamps right now.
When you said you gave him a number and he said, why so low? You're talking about the number of units?
The number of units, right.
Yeah. Okay.
And it requires workforce, a percentage of workforce housing, yep, which we're really good with because of our other businesses. And so we're excited. We're excited about the project. We've been approached by a number of developers, but we've decided we're going to go through the process ourselves to get the entitlement we need using Jason and his team, which would then give us the say of what's going in there, rather than having an outside developer come in there and do something that's maybe not the best for St. Petersburg, considering all of us that are partners on that are all local St. Petersburg and we love the city. So we don't want to see it.
That makes a lot of sense. And obviously the numbers get a little tighter when you include the workforce housing, which is why people don't do it. So, how is that going to impact the project? I think it's 25% is what the state mandate is.
State mandated 25%. The greater density allowed helps with that. It helps you get a balance in there that makes it feasible to build, especially at the cost of building now. It made it harder and harder. But it's the sensible thing to do. Anytime that there should be a change in a change in zoning or a change that's requested like this, I believe that it's our duty as landowners and developers to go ahead and make sure that the people that made St. Petersburg great, our hospitality people, are the people that work around. They're the ones that really made this city. I mean, the artists and everything else. You combine those two, the restaurants, the artists, the museums, everything. That gave us the ground, the footprint to begin building what we built, right? And so to exclude them doesn't make any sense to me in being able to live in our city, and especially in the core of our city. And our core, of course, is growing larger. Whoever thought that downtown was spread up to 31st Avenue in Central Avenue, like it is right now in the different neighborhoods, but it's still continuous all the way up. So the logical thing is to go south. There's nowhere else to go but south, and in an inclusive sort of way. So,
and I think, and this is a bit fluffy, I suppose, but it does speak to the benefit of having all St. Pete people, and especially people who who are dealing and their businesses are tied to our, our workforce, that you are going to have to bleed profit to make this thing work compared to a traditional development. But because of the players involved, you're willing to do that. And I think that's worth noting, right? And I think that is, it speaks to the fact that we can get these things done. And there are ways to make it profitable, but also, maybe not as profitable, but profitable in a different way, which you have a different bottom line. Locals have a different bottom line than developers who are only looking at one bottom line. And
sure,
and that's a great, yeah,
that's a fact, and we need to get that thinking back in St. Petersburg. I was encouraged yesterday with the mayor's decision on the Tropicana field. That begins to show that they're looking at things different ways and how to become more inclusive of the people that have made the city great. And so I was proud of our mayor yesterday for what he did.
And so, as the project sits now, are we looking at, I think, townhomes, or what's sort of?
No, we're looking at apartments. We're going to do apartments, yeah, anywhere from studios up to 3 bedrooms is the way that we're thinking right now. There may be some 4 bedrooms. We'd love to see the city change some of its zoning rules and allowing co-living, which I think is really, really important, to where a unit is based. People would share the common area, the living room and the kitchen, but they would have their own bedroom area and bathroom. We saw a project down in Miami that was built like that, and it was amazing. It was a very eclectic sort of feel in there, but you saw people, transfer of ideas and transfer of people. It's very, very cool. And our city doesn't allow that right now. And so that'd be something great for us to work on.
I think there was one project in town that was offering a subscription service where you could stay in a room and have common area. And they had 2 or 3 smaller footprint, I think it's 6, 8 bedrooms. I think one was on 9th Street. I don't remember the name of it, but there has been a little experiment in that.
Yeah, but nothing in a big area. And I think, an area that's going to have to look at that is around the hospitals and around the university. I think that's going to be an important addition to it. This one was at the School of Arts down in Miami, where I saw this one. So it was inspiring. Some of the things, the innovative things that people are doing around the country, we need to really grasp and change some of our zoning to include that.
Sure. So speaking of that, with zoning, with workforce housing, what are some of the other opportunities for change or for development that are on your radar right now that we could learn about?
Yeah, I looked at YIMBY. I've been watching the YIMBY movement coming through, and I agree in the general principle of it. I think having these along our corridors to where, they're 1 and 2, it's a great opportunity for people to be able to get new home ownership. I think the problem right now is that there's no way of having young people buy a house because of everything. Now with increasing interest rates, it's making it even a little more difficult. And the price of the property, of course, is always an issue. But having something that has a rental component within it, their home, is going to make a big difference in how people look and leave. I'm not for a blanket YIMBY attitude across the city, but I sure am for designated areas, especially in our high traffic corridors. Just going into them a little bit into the neighborhoods. I could see where a homeowner in his own right would be sort of nervous about having a lot of rentals sitting around him. It wouldn't increase his thing, but the premise of it, is really, really good, and I applaud the people that are championing it.
And so the idea behind that is that you put tiny homes or accessory dwelling units in folks' backyard to increase density and to create more of that workforce housing, and also essentially help. It becomes an income source for the homeowner. And we are starting to see a proliferation of people doing that, but then sort of doing the Airbnb thing as well. How much of that is on your radar as far as those types of operations?
We're not. We're more in a support role than we are in the actual development of that. That's not our place. We're working on a project in Kissimmee right now. That's a 3-phase project on 20 acres that we did a public-private partnership with the city of Kissimmee in their CRA, downtown CRA. It's right next to the medical center, and they're in the same place that we are. There's not enough housing near the medical center for their needs. They want to build a 4th tower at the Osceola Medical Center, and they can't build the 4th tower until they have the housing they need. So the city of Kissimmee recognized that, and they did an RFP, and we replied to the RFP with our partners at Skyview in New York, and we won the RFP. So we're building, first phase is 310 apartments, second phase is about 250, and the third phase will be possibly a hotel and some medical office buildings. That's the kind of mixed living that we're going to have to begin looking at, possibly all different types. I think a cookie cutter approach to anything is not the right way to do it. We have to look at the area and go from there. I was really disappointed in the Miami deal on Salt Creek not going through. That was a truly an inspirational development, but because of the inability to build in coastal high hazard at the density that they wanted, they weren't able to go. But that's the kind of developments that we're going to have to look at, where people are able to work there, to live there, and to play there and build neighborhoods. I think St. Petersburg has lost that little neighborhood feel, and we have to start recreating them with the closing of some of the shopping centers and lack of shopping and lack of everything especially in our South Side. I see it coming back, and I'm glad, because I'm a lifetime South Side dweller. So it's great to see that kind of vitality coming back into our area.
Agreed. And I forgot to ask, how many units are we looking at Commerce Park? You mentioned
we're somewhere between 400 and 600 units.
Okay. And you finish up with you mentioned live, work, and play. Speaking of Playhouse, things at the Big Catch.
The Catch is, I'm sitting behind it. It's great. COVID had done a great job for helping us, being almost all outside. We were able to safely maneuver through a hard time in all the restaurant business, but more importantly, we built a great local clientele that still today are coming back, and this has become their home. So it's been great. We're marking our 3rd anniversary this weekend, and we're excited to be here and continue on, and look forward to many more years here. It was a project of love for all the partners involved, and we've had a great time being here, and we thank everybody that supported us during this time.
Wonderful. I appreciate you sharing the Commerce Park project and some of your other thoughts, and we'll look forward to watching your progress, supporting you, and catching up again soon.
Thanks, Joe. It's always great seeing you, buddy.